want to touch base on something I'm pretty positive that lots of people holding AMC stock right now at this moment and in the last few weeks have been thinking of. And it's about, well, should I really sit here and see my money drop, see my gains evaporate, see, the value of my investment into this stock, even though I'm pretty somehow confident at this point that it's going to moon at some point, but should I sit here and wait for it to hit, I don't know, $5 a share? While I can actually sell it now, wait for it to go back to, I don't know, 5, 6, maybe 7, and then from that point, get back in for a lot more shares for the money I've been saving, And if you think that, well, it's totally natural. Why? Because we as humans, the way the psychology, the way the psyche, the way our mind works, we don't like to lose, especially when it comes to money. So people will try to go in defense mode. People will try to go in survival mode. People will try to go into, okay, I don't want to deal with this anymore. Let me just kind of get out. Let me get out, all right? Let me check out. And this is totally the point. I believe some of these tactics from the short sellers are really targeting us. The capitulation point. So at which point are you feeling so stressed out, so distressed by the latest price action into your holding, into your investment, into your stock, that you're ready to throw in the towel? But what people forget to think, or people forget to know, may not know, is the capitulation point. It's really the point where as soon as you sell it, boom, it shoots right back up. Why? Because when you hit that capitulation mode, like, you know what, I want to be done with this, let me just throw in the towel, then it hits a bottom where short sellers are like their peak, so it cannot go to lower than that level. But it means it's also very attractive for the buyers to jump in the play now and take, charge of the whole movement, take charge of the whole play. All right. And this is how any type of investment in the market will work, and any type of investment, generally speaking. Now, when it comes to AMC specifically, you look at the chart, so if I go back down to the year-to-date is even a little bit more depressing. If you go back to the 6 months, you can see going back down. If you go back to the 1 year, you can definitely see that, oh man, since June of last year, we have been on the downtrend, almost at some point losing 83%. But when Robinhood, when Neo, when Palantir, when all of these high stocks, when Tesla, when Netflix is at what, 75, 50, 40%, 20% down, nobody is telling them to sell. But when AMC is down the same amount, when AMC is even down 30%, 50, 60%, well, it's time to get out. So this also plays into this whole factor. Now, another thing to also take into consideration is, well, with AMC, you just never know. You just never know when is going to be that time for which capitulation is going to be capitulation time for the short sellers, because capitulation time really might be anything, any event, anything that was planned, anything that was the market was kind of prepared for, anything that will kind of shake the market one direction or another, that can cause panic in the short sellers camp and triggering them to finally get out. You just never know. You don't know if it's going to happen here at 12. You don't know if it's going to happen at 11 or at 30 or at, you don't know. And that is the most difficult part, because as I mentioned, you don't want to sit here and see this go from 13 or 12 to 9, because to you it may not make a big difference because of the size of your position, your position share, the amount of shares that you're holding, right? Because if I hold 30,000 shares, and yeah, there are retail investors in this holding 16,000, 30,000 shares. For them, $1 price increase, we're talking about 30,000 gain. If it jumps $10, they are making 300,000 on that day. If it jumps $20, they are making 60,000. So if we have to go back down to 9, we're talking about potentially a 3 to 4. No, 5. What I'm talking about, $5 to $6. So $5 to $6 if you're holding 30,000 shares at an average of what? You're losing 150K. So you don't really want to sit here and lose 150K. That's the big question. And my answer to that is, what is your conviction? Has anything changed how convicted you were into this play? Do you need the money right now? Because although that also has to play a lot. If those two questions you answer by, well, the positive, and the positive being, I don't really need the money now, I can still, somehow wait for it to overturn, well, for me, it's still worth holding a little bit, because you might try to save $5 per share in order to lose 20, 25, 30, 40, maybe $50 per share. Why? Because it's a time bump, you don't want to be sitting out of the play when it starts running back up. Because when you try to re-enter, you're now trying to chase. You're now trying to FOMO because you don't want to miss out on this. And mentally, it's totally damaging. Trust me, I've been there. Not with AMC, but with different stocks. It's really damaging. And I don't want you to be in that spot, because it's totally, it's not a good spot, especially emotionally. So anything can happen, and you don't want to be missing the total run up because you wanted to save $5 a share in order to miss on 20, 25, 30, whatever, that amount might be. So I know it's not easy, it doesn't matter the amount of shares you have, but this is just all part of the game. Maybe we didn't know that when we started, but unfortunately, it comes with the territory.